Okay. Hey, everybody, it's Mac with Veterans Achieve Business Systems. Um, Thanks for showing up today, whether you're live or you're going to watch this on the Veterans Achieve Business Systems YouTube channel. Um, I actually stopped my buddy Tyler from talking before I started the recorder because a big part of what we're trying to do is to show people how to make the transition from one position of life to the next chapter in their life. And while we concentrate on the jacket wearers, as I refer to them, the veterans, law enforcement, and first responders transitioning from their service career into their own business career, uh, my buddy Tyler, not having been a veteran, but he's actually in his own transition. When I met him, I guess about 2 years ago now, Tyler,
That's right.
a friend of another member, Steve Mesh, you guys were in a punk rock and roll band together in high school. Although I
Yes.
think you had hair then.
I know.
So,
I know, right?
we all lose something from our youth.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
but the importance of showing up. Yeah, and I've said this to a lot of different people that I've really enjoyed the relationships I have with now. If I hadn't shown up or they hadn't shown up at something, I'd never have that relationship. I was talking to one of my former previous speakers, Roger Caesar out of Toronto, about this a few months ago. I said, and he had been in London. I said, the thing, and Kathy just got back from London. We could have been on the street, we could have been at Piccadilly Square, bumped into each other, said, "Excuse me," and gone on our way, and never would have taken the time to include each other in our life. And Tyler, you're one of those things. I remember the first time that you came. We have pictures of you and I and Steve hanging out in the bar together and
Right.
cracking jokes. And at that time, your business was what I do describe it as is the Tom Cruise cocktail movie, and that you make specialty drinks. And I see you, shaking drinks and putting all that together, and you've uh, advanced your career, hopefully, in that with your new endeavor. And I'm going to let you talk about that. But the transition process for all of us, it's a lifelong goal. The path lasts for as long as we want it to. What we learn today helps us with tomorrow. The people we meet today may become the most important people 5 years from now. Maybe they're just friendly acquaintances today, but it could be the big deal down the road. So, showing up is very important. I want to thank everybody for coming today. Tyler, I know that we've already shared the screen with you. So, if you have a presentation, but why don't you take it over from here?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mac. And I back up everything that Mac just said. I am have known the Achieve community for about 2 years now, and I have a background in hospitality, in the people business, hosting rooms, curating events for people, making something unique into a memory for them, right? And that's the foundation that I have. And like he said, I am not a veteran myself. My father put 4 years into Army service as a mechanic. I've got a lot of veterans and active duty people in my life. So while I'm not a veteran myself, I do approach life with a degree of seriousness. I approach life with respect, with honor, with integrity, right? With those types of ideas, that's the foundation in which I put my boots on. And I think that those are some qualities that we can all share and that we all understand. And for a little bit of background, yes, I have the hospitality career going on. My bartender business is called Drink Like Royalty. I provide elite level bartending services. I'm located here in Middle Tennessee. However, of course, we met in Colorado, can and will travel. And why I say I'm in a transitory period is while I was finding fulfillment using those skill sets that I had described, it wasn't something that I woke up one day and all of a sudden that fulfillment wasn't there anymore. I had to be honest with myself and say, well, this set of circumstances that I'm in, waking up at not waking up, but clocking in at 1:30 p.m. and clocking out at 1:30 a.m., right? In a cocktail or bar job, trying to replicate that and on Friday and Saturday night services on the private side of things, just working around a lot of how do I say this? You can't really pick your coworkers, right? And when I'm trying to do things at a high level and I'm trying to do things the right way, the standard procedure, and I'm around a bunch of corner cutters and selfish people who are out for themselves, it really chips down at at your mental state, right? So when that had happened, I was going through this and I went up to Denver, Colorado to hang out with Coach Sonia and Coach Kathy and Mac. And I had met a financial strategist in that space. And he's now my senior marketing director. His name's Nathan Wheeler. He is an Army Ranger, father of five, consultant for Deloitte. He helped form the United States Space Force, right? So a heavy hitter, a serious guy, also in integrity, honor, respect, right? We had hit it off because I was, we were having conversations about faith and how family is important and purpose is important. All that to say, when I got back home, he had offered me, pardon me, he had offered me an interview with his finance firm. And I'm like, well, I don't have a background in finance, but something I can tell you is that finance can be taught, and I'm living proof of that. So I wanted to go ahead and open up this conversation with that as the background of what we're doing here. When it comes to transitioning, right? A wise man once told me that the only thing constant in life is change, right? We're always transitioning. We're always fielding new, new things that come into our field, and we have to adjust to that. And I know that veterans are especially adept at that. Now, what happens when you find yourself at the end of your career and you retire, honorably discharged? Well, now you have the civilian problem to deal with. So that's what I wanted to go ahead and jump into today. Mac, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. Bing, bang, boom. La di da. Cool. Now, make this happen. All righty. Lovely, lovely. We see the veteran transition problem. I believe this is an important topic to discuss because I think Max said you've got over 60,000 private entities that are trying to help veterans and they're all trying to do offer their own angle. But at the end of the day, that's a lot of mud to be sifting through. So what happens when the veteran comes out of their service and they've got to go find a job? A lot of people think that transition means finding a job. Well, that's part of it. But the bigger question is, where does your discipline go now? Where does your leadership go now? Where does that protective instinct go now? And for many veterans, the hard part is not capability, but it's finding a mission worthy of that capability. I can tell you purpose, structure, protecting your family, educating yourself, and leading are all qualities that the private sector and the civilian sector have in common. Now, I can tell you that as a civilian, we see a lot of muck and nonsense going on outside, and a lot of people don't respect those qualities about where do I instill discipline? How do I use these gifts? And when it comes to financial work, when it's done properly, it doesn't even feel like work. It's protection work. It's not about pushing products. It's about helping families answer the questions that most people avoid. What happens if my income stops? What happens if the market drops? What happens if God forbid my spouse is left alone, or college and inflation and retirement and long-term care, all of those debts collide at once. Kind of a scary position to be in when you've been in a structure that kind of takes care of those things for you. Now, you look at the movies, you look at the news, you look at your Facebook feed, wherever it is that you got your attention on, and it's kind of a cliche, right? It feels like the only options for veterans after their service is to be that cop or that firefighter. And while there's nothing wrong with that, obviously we need public servants. But I would argue that in modern times, our society no longer respects cops, no longer respects public servants. And that's a serious topic to address. I mean, veterans are trained to protect people. Military service protects the country. Financial strategy protects the household. And when the uniform changes, the instinct can be familiar, right? You're using those skills to assess risk, plan ahead, protect your unit, communicate clearly, and act before an emergency turns into a crisis. I'll tell you, there are plenty of crises in America, but I still believe that we are the most free and prosperous country on the planet, and it is our duty to protect that. Now, when our young men and women are taught that America is the bad guy and that my feelings equal my opinion and all of the political stuff we can talk about, that's distracting from what really matters. What really matters is how do we operate at the highest, most integral level possible and without feeling like we're suckers. So I know that veterans give so much of their self in service that a lot of folks that you have these conversations with, it seems easier for them to just re-enlist for another 4 years than it does to take a pay cut and get, spat on and beat up as a cop for no good reason. This brings us to the Miliori Group. I want to make clear that the Miliori Group positions its work around helping families make informed decisions, including retirement, income protection, family protection, college funding, your legacy planning, budgeting, any business solution you could ever think of as well. And we contract tens of thousands of agents in all 50 states, Puerto Rico, and Canada. We've helped millions of families grow hundreds of millions of dollars over the past 31 years. If anybody is into the self-help space, listening to coaches and other business leaders, this is an Ed Milet original business. Now, with that being said, I'm not here to give you any fluff. We're backed by Aegon, a Fortune 500 company. They've got over, I think, $200 billion in assets in their portfolio. They operate in over 20 countries. They're actually moving their headquarters to the United States currently in this year because of the work that we're doing here with the Miliori Group. Now, Transamerica is our securities advisor. World Financial Group is our insurance broker. And the reason why I like to start here is because it just gives you a background, maybe some context in what I'm about to talk about. Right? This is not a new thing. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. The business is simple, but it might not be easy. And I think that can resound with a lot of folks here on this call. I'm simply here to give folks a shot at prosperity. Now, this business rewards military habits. Of course, prospecting and speaking up requires courage. The licensing course takes a little bit of study, but after that, you have your life insurance license and you don't have to worry about it ever again. Trust is huge in any business with any relationship. Team building requires leadership. Following up with people, that requires discipline. And I think the right veteran already understands that the chain of development is important to success. We learn, we qualify, we get licensed, we train, we serve clients, we mentor others. Repeat. Pretty simple, pretty familiar. Now, it's not identical to your experience in the military, but the rhythm is certainly not foreign. And I believe that leadership, yes, it's not a title, but it's more of a, how do I duplicate this? Leaders develop other leaders, as I know, as my friends on the call can attest to. And veterans understand that it's a leader's job to do that. They're not there to look impressive. They are there to produce other capable people. And I'll tell you firsthand, that's the experience that I've had from my journey from hospitality into financial services. I love the structure that I'm in. There are actually many, many veterans that are like this business attracts veterans. I just want to say that because of everything that we've just said. And when you're around a team immersed in a culture where everybody shares those same values anyway, and we're all here to make each other better, it's infectious. I mean, we start to implement at the speed of instruction. I know that's familiar to a lot of y'all, you know? I also want to say compensation from the companies that we work with, that is significant. And also is significant are the overrides and uncapped bonuses that you can earn. Now, there's two different routes essentially that you can take. I want you to think of these as different paths. Now, one path, you can go solo, keep your head down, and be a producing machine. Talk to as many families as possible, implement as many strategies as possible, and earn your commission that way. Now, the second path, and the path that I'm on, is more of a builder role. In this route, you build your own team of other independent agents. Now, think of this like real estate. You can be a licensed real estate agent, keep your head down and do your thing and do all the work yourself and the prospecting and the submitting client applications and the social media and the follow up and all the processes. Or you can build your own business and hire other agents to work under you. Well, now you've got a massive market. Now you've got collaboration between like-minded individuals. Now you've got a real tangible product that you own. I want to be clear too that with the Miliori Group, anything that you do, you own your book of business. If I worked for State Farm and I was trying to represent State Farm in this phone call, I would only be able to talk about State Farm policies. State Farm would also own my book of business. Well, we don't operate there. Okay. So if you want to build something that is legacy minded, something that has uncapped potential, something where you can become a thousandaire to a millionaire, that's absolutely possible. The finance industry actually it develops the most millionaires per 1,000 individuals out of any other metric, out of any other industry. Now, as a builder, you get to train new agents, right? And every time you do, you split business 50-50 with them until they are certified internally with a certain qualification that tells us that they're ready to go have these conversations on their own, right? At that point, you earn overrides off of that agent's production without taking any of their commission. So this scales as you earn your promotions and as you talk with other people. Let's meet Marcos. Okay. Marcos is a combat veteran. And of course, like anybody else, he wants to live a peaceful life without sacrificing his sanity in the civilian world. Marcos values clearly defined standard operating procedures. But maybe he's done getting barked at, and he's at that past that point in his life, right? He only knows brotherhood. He only knows trust. And this is a non-negotiable. How many jobs can you think of in the civilian industry, in the civilian world that don't have brotherhood, that have the opposite of trust? It's okay if you're 10 minutes late. I can have my earbuds in and do nothing while I do this job. I don't believe that that's synonymous with integrity and respect and honor. So we just don't really have any room for that, right? This is a good thing. Marcos knows that there is good money to be made in the financial services industry, but how do I get in? I don't want to be held down by quotas or other key performance indicators because that's just not my style, right? You see Carlos dressed in his nice shirt and tie, right? This is a new career path. How I started was part-time. I still had my cocktail bar job. I still had my bartending business, and I jumped into this thing part-time. But I'll tell you what, at a certain point, you can go full-time. Let's just put it that way. You can go full-time and really provide for the family and yourself and your lifestyle that you wish to develop. Bottom line, before we go into a little bit of the other metrics of how this job works, we get paid twice a week in 5 different ways. Like one of the things that I love about what we do is that we are paid very well for the education that we bring. Now, personal income comes from the clients that you personally help. Now, on average, when we help a client, the company that we are partnering with pays our agency about $3,000 in brokerage fees. This is a loose average, okay? Now, new associates will start at a 35% contract level, which is about 1,050. If you do that math from 3,000, 35% of that, a little over $1,000. Now, if you're like me and you started part-time and you only help 4 clients a month, you're earning about $4,300 or over $50,000 a year. And there's no cap on how many clients you can help out or much you can earn, how much you can earn. And the best part is if you meet certain metrics, you earn a 10% uncapped bonus each month. Now, as you grow, you'll have the opportunity to introduce others to the agency. This is the builder's path. When those people get licensed and start serving their clients, you not only open up a new market, but you're going to earn override income based on the difference in your contract levels. Now, this allows you to build a scalable business with a team while you're still earning from the clients that you personally serve. Now, once you reach the senior broker level, you can promote others to senior broker as well. And when you do, you're essentially building your own franchise network. And our agency pays passive income on up to 6 generations of other senior brokers. Now, this is where true leverage, this is where true freedom start to come into play. You also unlock access to bonus pools as a senior broker. Now, these bonuses are paid monthly and quarterly based on your team's performance, and they can stack on top of your personal and your agency income. And that's just our way of rewarding consistent leadership and team growth. One of my favorite parts here, residual income is one of the most powerful parts of our business model. Now, let's say you help a client with a life insurance policy, a tax-free retirement account, something like that. Now, when that happens, you're going to get paid again, year after year through trails, renewals, and residuals. So your income doesn't reset to zero every month. So you're actually building a long-term, recurring, momentous revenue stream. Now, like anything, your pay increases as you help more clients, as you earn promotions, develop your team, advance in leadership. And since our compensation is commission-based, there is no salary cap. There is no limit to how much money you can earn. There is no glass ceiling. Now, I just want to give you a quick perspective here. If you're with our agency for 12 to 18 months and you're putting in consistent effort, even minimum wage around here is 6 figures. Now, your income, like anything else, is a reflection of your growth, your work ethic, your ability to serve others well. And this is why there's so many veterans on our team. We give you the platform and the support to succeed at every level. I don't know if you guys understand or not, but we are currently living in the greatest transition of wealth in recorded history. Okay? The boomer generation is anything that they've touched as they go from infants to teenagers to parents to business owners, right, to enjoying their retirement. Every sector that they've had the pleasure to enhance has become a record-setting financial boon. Okay. Now, Gen X and millennials are experiencing receiving inheritances for these people. Okay. Now, many people don't even have a plan set in place to handle these new riches and protect it from probate and other predatory situations. And this is where we come in play, right? Imagine the opportunity out here. Think of how many people you know that have a 401k or a TSP. They're variable market strategies that are exposed to variable market downturns. Let's just be honest at the end of the day. There's a huge opportunity to help out your neighbor, your friend, your family member, to help get them out of that risk and into a safe growth strategy. And we get you paid for doing so. It's incredible. Wouldn't it make sense to be in the right place at the right time? And this is something I think that really should not be underestimated or understated. The mission here is no family left behind. I'm not sure who works with a financial advisor or a tax guy or a CPA, something like that. Most of those structures are, their goal is to focus on family B, not family A. The people who are in this industry are looking for the six-figure earners, $250,000 earners. They understand how to leverage debt. They're business owners. They've already got permanent life insurance policies. They know how to maximize their tax advantages. Well, one thing that Ed Milet learned 31 years ago was that, that means if the 5%, we'll just loosely call it the 5% of the top, they're already getting bombarded and inundated with solicitation. Well, that leaves the bottom 95% as a free and an open market. I don't know about you guys, but my high school education, we didn't go through any sort of financial literacy course. There's some insane statistic out there, something like 14, 15% of US high schools today in 2026 don't equip their graduates with financial literacy. So what happens? Now there's nothing wrong with this, but when you go fly the coop, you're going to go get a bank account. You're going to go talk to your friend. Well, what kind of predatory liability insurance company do you have insured for your car? Or, well, I don't know. I guess I should play the stock market, but I don't know how. And you just kind of have that rotating conversation. It's good that we're talking about finance, but it's simply an education based issue. Now, most people don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan. I think we all know people who are maybe they're worth 20, $30,000 living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe you're worth 20, 30 million and still living paycheck to paycheck. What a trap to be in. This is why we focus on financial education first as part of the Miliori Group. We're not here to just jump out and sell you a product, sell you a product, sell you a product. Like that's a non-starter. That is a kind of when someone starts talking that way, you're trying to get out of that conversation because oh God, I don't have time for this or whatever, right? Education is key. And this is another reason why I believe that veterans are so successful in this industry. You know how to study. You know how to achieve a goal. You know A to B to C to D equals the finish line, right? I said earlier that I'm an independent agent. I'm not held captive. What this means is I have access to just under 200 of the world's A-rated financial companies across the entire financial spectrum. You quite simply have to be the best in your industry to earn a spot on our platform. Okay. This is a very regulated industry, federally regulated. I have to hang my licenses somewhere and have what I do, within an oversight structure. And thank God, right? Let's make the right call when it comes to talking about people's wealth. Okay. Now, I bring that up because I think a lot of this conversation that you may have had in the past has been, well, annuities are the devil because you can't bring that, when you die, the rest of that policy doesn't go to your beneficiaries. The insurance company takes it, or I'm paying this much in insurance fees and receiving this much in benefits. We don't even go there, okay? Because the companies that we partner with don't offer those products. I was talking to Mac earlier that over the past 30, 40, 50 years, I think that it needs to be stated that with a free market comes competition. And competition means go make a better product, go be a better company, stay at the top, stay at the cream of the crop of the choices that your consumer base has to choose from. Because when you do that, you're getting the business, you're getting the results, you're making the profits, sure, however you want to dice that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm never going to have a conversation. You are never going to have a conversation as an agent that's going to go with some C minus company that's going to put your person, your client at a financial disadvantage. Now, give us a comprehensive look at what we got going on, right? Income, emergency fund, debt relief, proper protection, wealth management, estate planning, and more. We do it all. Okay. again, I'll wrap this back to the incredible opportunity that there is, not only for referrals for other people in this industry, but to tap on your buddy's shoulder and get them involved with this too. I want to briefly go over kind of the nuts and bolts of our process here. Like I said, financial education is where we start. We don't charge a dime for any of our services because we get compensated very well on the back end by the Nationwides and the Alliances and the Transamericas. Okay. With that being said, I want to go over a couple of slides very briefly, but I would invite you to view what I'm about to say through the lens of, can I do this myself? By the way, there's a script and a procedure for everything. Uh, what you got, Mac? You got a question for me?
Well, a comment with all these things, and for people that are looking for a new source of income, I think you've done a really good job. But
Thank you.
what about the educational part of the people not looking for residual income, but are looking to do something with what they have within their own business structure now? And that, maybe I have a Marine Corps captain. He's stationed at Camp Pendleton. He's already delving into real estate, multifamily properties, but he's already importing his own coffee brand.
Okay,
How do
great.
any of us, I mean, we have a varied group here uh, at different levels of wealth.
Mhm.
How does any of these products that you sell help us? Uh,
Yeah.
Myself probably being the older guy in the room, Steve and Arca in my age group, Maggie at the younger spectrum of this. How do we develop a conversation with you to do a review of what we should start, the seeds we should be planting for ourselves?
Great question. I'm so glad you asked. And you nailed it. You actually nailed it without even trying. And the word that stood out to me is conversation. These are simple conversations to have with financial professionals, all at no cost, all of those things. Now, everybody's situation is unique. Some of us are business owners, so we'll lean into that, right? A business owner has dozens of fires to put out at any time. They're behind the eight ball on more things that they'd like to admit, and they're trying to just keep their business going for another, to the next level, right? Well, because of that fast paced, because of that momentum, I would argue that it is in a business owner's best interest to review your process every once in a while. Even if you have a tax advisor, a tax attorney, right? Fantastic. I'm not looking to replace that guy or that woman, right? I'm looking to plug the holes in the boat. I'm looking to identify what might be blind to you as the operator. So we're not here to replace now, if it needs replacing, let's make it happen. But well, I'm not here to replace something that already works. I'm here to spot that pinhole in the tire that keeps you pulling over every 200 miles, right? Because it's a fresh set of eyes. I think that it's very important to, as we achieve success, as we, your captain that is importing his own coffee brand, fantastic. Let's have a conversation with him, and I align him with our prime corporate services business, business attorneys, whether that be reviewing your articles of organization, your LLC, your C corp structure, whether that be asking questions that you may, not have asked because your tax guy only knows so much, whatever. My point here is, I don't know it all, but I do know who's an expert in any part of that field. And it's just a simple conversation. This is low stress, this is low pressure, and I think it's in people's best interest to take a sober look at each quarter. And maybe it's time to have a conversation with us. I know my information is in the chat, and I'll post it again at the end of this slideshow. Thanks for asking.
Oh.
Yeah, I want to check the.
Any, does anybody else, because we're coming up on the hour here, um, and Tyler, we're probably going to have to do multiple versions of this to get all the information out there of what
Sure,
you do.
sure.
But Steve,
Yeah, Tyler, I know with most financial companies, you start selling insurance to your friends
Mhm.
and family. And my friends are my age, they're all pretty financially secure, as well as my kids. So, where would somebody like me start?
Start in the conversation of helping them improve their financial structure, or for your own self.
For them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great question. Great question. This is why I have such an advantage by not just selling insurance, right? Let's say that you come on board. Quite literally, I would we would line up a handful of training appointments with you with your network. Okay. I would get on
Uh-huh.
the phone with them. Hey, I don't know if you know this or not, but Steve and Arica just started a new, have begun helping families in the financial space. And I know that's a big-ended question, but if you'd like to, they trust you very much. I would love to get us on a conversation so they can show you exactly what they're doing. Does that sound fair enough? I'll do the heavy lifting. We'll get them involved in that. And again, this is a conversation, and because we have so much success in our referral-based strategy, we're not making cold calls. We are not doing any of that type of nonsense. It's strictly peer-to-peer, trusted, vetted introductions, right?
Hmm.
For the people in your specific tax bracket, age group, whatever that
Yeah.
is, it doesn't have to be insurance. Likely you've been insured for a long time. Likely you're a business owner that sold their business, right? Well,
Mhm.
do you have any bonds? Right? Are you guaranteed? Are you confident that you have minimized your tax exposure as much as possible? Are you sure that when you leave your legacy that it's not going to get tied up in probate? Would you like to explore other opportunities? You see, it just goes on and on, right? So it's more than just a conversation about insurance. It's identifying what people's you can call them pain points if you like, but what their needs are. I hope that answers your question. And if it doesn't, please let me know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
think
great. Thank you.
I think the
You're welcome.
education process is so important because most of it, nobody likes insurance until you need insurance. And that
Exactly.
it doesn't matter if it's health insurance or car insurance or life insurance, The one of the issues, and I think I told you I did insurance products back in the 70s, and
Yes,
that
sir.
I've always been a believer in insurance products, but um, seeing the value of it, and those products have changed so much,
Fundamentally.
and people are leery.
Right.
The first thing they say, oh, it's a whole life policy, and they, want to, tie me in, and everybody tells me, crypto's better, the market's better, everything else is better than insurance product, unless I die. So I'm gambling that I'm going to die so that my wife or my spouse gets money and the kids are taken care of, and I want them to taken care of. But what about taking care of me now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I think that becomes the important topic. Like, how do we gamble that if something does happen, they're taken care of, but we also are not gambling like pulling a slot machine.
Right.
Uh,
Right. Right.
we decide that we're building for the future. I'm at that point now that, um, you know, not having to go be a Walmart greeter is very attractive to me. Uh,
You'd be the best Walmart greeter out of the entire fleet. Are you serious?
Probably I'd pick up girls. But
Smack them on the butt on the way out, you know?
here's my phone number.
Yeah.
But now, and I think that we all do it. And I look at the people here. Tim does a lot helping people tied into Medicare, and having an expert that is vetted, and that's what I try to accomplish here. I'm a believer that 90% of everybody we meet is honest and sincere. Yes, they care about what they're doing. They also care about what you're doing, and that 10% just want to sell us something. If we don't buy, they'll never talk to us again.
Mhm.
So we
So
have
true.
to be, and unfortunately, the 10% screws it up for the 90% because
I believe that too.
we don't want to be hammered by somebody always grabbing at our wallet,
Yes,
telling
sir.
us that we should be doing something different.
Right,
How
right.
do, how do you become a trusted advisor
Hmm.
to help me take the money I have, and live through it? As I've said, if I knew I was only living 5 more years, I could live a very lavish lifestyle. If I
Right.
live 30 years, I got to keep making a buck, and I got to make more than what I spend. And
Exactly.
so I think that's where the question comes in for the people that are here today and are going to be watching this. Why do I trust Tyler other than he came out to a conference, smoked cigars with me, and drank a little bit of tequila? And Tim likes you already because Tim's my tequila cigar guy.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, 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 but how do you
Yeah.
come here and become an advisor? You're a kid,
Right, right.
you know?
You know,
Why should Arca and Steve trust you so that they have a better life 5 years from now?
well, they should trust me because I am interested in what their pain points are. I'm listening to you. I'm not here again, like we could go just throw everything that I just said out the window. We would sit down and find our commonalities. I'm a huge believer that we have so much more in common than we do apart. Whether at the end of the day, Steve and Arica decide to trust me is up to them, right? I'm a big believer in, uh, you only get one shot at a first shot, right? At a first impression, right? And when it comes to this conversation and not being a salesman, I really don't consider myself a salesman. I've actually never given myself that title at all because when you
That's a
lead,
badge you have to earn, buddy.
well, I know salesman equals I'm not listening to you. We're going to get out the door, you know?
Uh,
Um, so when it comes to that, what's going on financially? Here's how I've helped other people in the past. Let me show you some better ways. Like you just said, we'll use Mac as an example, right? Mac is at the point in his life where he's no, trying hard not to be the Walmart greeter. I don't want to outlive my wealth. My kids, my legacy, they may be taken care of, but I don't want them to be spoiled brats the rest of their life and squander what I've worked my entire life to go to. Okay, absolutely, I totally understand that. I completely understand that. And something that really that I would approach that conversation is you probably, you said you're tied into the variable market right now.
mhm.
Yeah. So have you ever taken a loss on one of those gambles?
Oh, always. You don't have success if you lose all the time, but sometimes the failures motivate the wins.
Right.
And that's what, and you and I have talked about this, that this is not about this moment here, other than we're planting a seed, and that life is a long journey. And if somebody comes on our life path, whether a few minutes or a lifetime, individually, we have to figure out what that purpose is. But we all have our individual purpose. On Kathy's mastermind last hour, we were talking about the importance of going and playing, taking time off, and
Yes.
that. Well, we also have, while we have to take that at reasonable time frames, we also need to look at how can we do that 10 years from now? How can we do that 20 years from now? For some of us, 40 or 50 years from now? Why do I
Absolutely.
develop a relationship with you? Why do I develop a relationship with Kathy or Sonia or anybody else that comes on our path? What
Yep.
value can I recognize is honest and sincere?
And that takes time. That takes multiple interactions. That takes proving your trustworthiness, right? Not dropping the ball. And that's something that I'm very passionate about. I really approach every relationship. I trust you until you give me a reason not to, right? So on that personal level, it would take time and fostering that development. And I will answer your question. I know Maggie. I just want to say, Maggie, I see your two questions. We'll get there in a second. Um, when it comes to taking losses, when it comes to not outliving your income, right? One of the strategies that I preach is the strategy of indexing. Now, indexing, when you insure your money with a Nationwide, we'll just say, an Allianz, right? You're entering into a contract with an insurance company that guarantees you a protection against your loss. It is their foundation is to protect people against loss. And if the loss is losing money to a variable market downturn, okay, that's what we call a zero loss floor. So when you insure your money with Nationwide, right, we design our policies to where you have the lowest cost of insurance possible and where you can maximally fund your policy with the remainder of that premium. And what happens is you have given them enough chips to where they're going to buy options based on a variety of indices. Okay. And when the indices do well, you realize those gains. When the indices don't do well, you get credited $0. Think of how important that is when it comes to the concept of compound interest. When the market takes a downturn and you were invested in Coca-Cola stock and it goes down, so does the power of your compound interest. So now you have to spend however long, and it's not up to you, it's up to the market, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years to even recoup those losses. Whereas when you are insuring your money through that insurance policy, you just get credited $0 that time, and your compound interest continues to grow. I talk with clients all the time that they're growing their money while the rest of their buddies are losing their money. And since there's a death benefit attached to this, you can withdraw your money tax free. Not to make this a conversation about product, and I know time is limited, but something that I'm very passionate about, and that's a main focus of my practice, is designing tax free retirement strategies for folks. Imagine
Well, and
taking the bank out of your conversation and being your own bank.
I think that's what is so important, and that's what I was trying to get is not everybody's looking to be an agent, but everybody should be looking to develop a relationship with an agent that's going to guide them correctly. Being at the point in life that I am, I wish I'd done a little bit more at an earlier age. It's
Absolutely.
important.
I can
And
understand.
not having fear of getting involved, being embarrassed. Oh, they want me to put $20 a month into a policy or $20 a week. In today's world, that's a
Yeah,
cups
no
of
kidding,
coffee.
man. No
And
kidding.
over the life period, and for some of us that are older, and that yeah, Social Security is not that hot, and that I mean, it seems like I put a hell of a lot more in every year than I'm getting back every year. So how do I do something a little bit smarter?
Yep.
I have to be the one that's educated, but I have to
Yes.
trust the educator. And I think that
Absolutely.
you've done that today. And I would encourage you to put your contact information
Thank you.
in there. And obviously, we need more time. Any last minute questions?
Yes. Thank you so, so very much, Mac. I very appreciate this opportunity and to kind of get to virtually meet people here. My contact information is at the top of the chat. Maggie asked, would a person be doing this remote? And if so, what is the interframe? So, yeah, so this is a virtual business. Hello, pandemic. Hello, Zoom, right? So yes, 99% of the time you're working from home. Okay. We have Slack channels. We have Monday through Friday meetings called frontline meetings where we're discussing policy. We're helping sharpen iron, right? And you said, by the way, this is your own business. Like you can go set up lunch and learns with your favorite group of realtors. I encourage you to do that, right? I encourage you to go to networking events. I encourage you to go to the senior living facility and offer them, do bingo with them for a couple weekends and get your name in there, right? The sky's the limit. So you asked what the interframe is. Can you describe that a little more for me? Like how long does it take to get trained type of situation?
No, if it's a remote business, what are the security features used in the interface of it?
Okay, great question. Yeah. So since we are backed by Aegon and Transamerica and all of them, okay, what has happened between 2025 and the end of this year, they have injected a little over $400 million into their tech and their security, I'll just say platforms, right, for lack of better terms. And with this being such a heavily federally and state regulated industry, you have to cross all of those check marks before we can proceed and either use a program as part of the part of the interface, however you want to say. But yeah, everything is encrypted and at that high level. You're really not going to be dealing with the sensitive information of others outside of a simple data collection form. And I mean, keep that on a hard drive, right? We do have shared Google Drives and all of that, but keep these things encrypted, keep them into password protected devices. I hope that answers your question.
It does.
Yeah, I'm not very tech vocab savvy, so I didn't want to
Sorry.
spit out nonsense to
Maybe
you, but
more of a reason, Tyler, why you and Maggie should have a private
I
conversation because that's what she does. She's tied into cybersecurity,
oh awesome.
and there may be some things there that crossover. She's dealing with calling businesses. Well, individuals may be good for you. I think businesses, business owners would be a better fit for
Hmm.
you.
Okay.
We're
Yeah, I would
right
love to
up
connect.
against it. I'm going to take a couple minutes, Tyler. First off, thanks for coming on, buddy. I would like to look at doing part two of this down the road. Um,
Absolutely.
on June 2nd, June 12th and 13th, we have the Achieve Conference in Denver. We still have a few tickets left for access. On June 2nd, I am going to be doing a Zoom at 6 o'clock Mountain Time uh, to prepare people for conference. What do you bring? Who do you see? Who are you trying to meet? What are you trying to accomplish? Uh, well, we'll be doing this with the people that I've invited. I invite everybody else to that wants to be visible to the people I'm bringing in, or have their people come in and learn what they should have. So often, we wanted to hand out a business card, but nobody remembered who handed us the business card because there wasn't a picture on it, there wasn't a flyer with it. How do we schedule things? Kathy's already reaching out to a gentleman I have in Atlanta. Sonia and I spoke about Dr. Young last night. Um, let's try to make this as valuable for all of us as possible. Um, I'm a big believer if we don't show up, we don't know what we missed. And people don't always see the value of coming, but you meet one person that changes your life, you'll understand the value of one. So, any
So
last minute
true.
comments, thoughts? I appreciate you, everybody showing up.
Tim,
Kathy?
I'm texting you right now.
This was awesome, Tyler. It was so good to see you take stage and share your message. I
Thank
love
you.
what the transition that you're going through. So keep doing it. Keep doing it, man.
Awesome. That means a lot from a pro like you. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
You need to come
Sonia?
on my call on Tuesday, though. You need to start
Yes.
coming on my call on Tuesday.
I will do
Visibility.
my best. I've got meetings lined up in the morning, but I'm trying to keep on my butt about that, okay?
Well, see, that's the nice thing about being self-employed, Tyler.
Yeah.
You can rearrange those other meetings and come show up for Kathy. That's
It's all about priorities. What gets scheduled gets done. So
right.
Amen.
it's free
Amen. Thank you.
coaching. It is
Yeah.
free coaching. So
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm writing this down.
Sonia, I did notice that you were talking that you're looking for speakers for Tampa for February.
I
Did you
am.
have another subject that you wanted to talk about now, or do you want to talk
Yeah,
about that?
yes. Yes, please. I just want to um let you all know that Chuck and I, my husband, for those of you who don't know, who we run Business Oasis, that we host the Achieve Business Explosion Conference in Tampa. But on June 5th, we are having the AI Business Summit um, to help business owners, leaders, veteran owners learn more about, getting business clarity in the age of AI. That's what I'll be talking about. Chuck will be talking about AI safety practices and awareness, and also talking about his book that he just launched, the AI or Safe AI. And then Clay Henry is a local guy that joined our Connect and Collaborate, who will be talking about the AI tools. And then Rook, some of you may know from our conference or from Achieve, he is going to be talking about his proprietary method on the sales dance, how you can get more leads and close them. And so we're having that in Tampa or Clearwater on June 5th. I put the link in the chat, and I will follow up with you, Kathy, to get that to you. But if you know anyone in the Florida area that may want to come, we're looking for speakers. I'm not speakers. We're looking for shout out sponsors and attendees. And I'd really appreciate any of your help in sharing that information.
Is that live and virtual?
This one's going to be live, but we are thinking about doing a virtual event next. So I'll let you
I've
know
been
the details
watching
of
some of
that.
the posts that Chuck's been posting on it, and um, it really looks interesting, and it fits into so many things that I'm seeing from other resources. Uh, jumping on a plane to come to a conference can be challenging uh, in today's world, but you
Yeah.
know,
Well,
I would love to see video clips of it, of the main
yeah,
speakers and stuff. Maybe you
yeah,
have somebody doing that part and you post it so we can watch virtually on our own schedule.
yeah. Thanks for reminding me of that. That would be excellent. Mac, you're brilliant. Thank you. That's awesome idea. We
Well,
could do
I
that.
learned that from my cohort in Tampa, Sonia Boudroga. I don't know if you've met her yet, but she teaches me so much crap. I mean, stuff.
Well, I'll see you all in
Awesome.
Denver at the conference. Chuck and I will be there. We're launching our Business Oasis book publishing business, and we're gonna be so excited to see y'all there. I hope you all attend. I don't know, Tyler. I came on here to say thank you for being here, and you remind me of my days being in Nashville, and I haven't said the word y'all, and I don't know how long. That was something I said all the time and I
Yes,
lived there in
y'all
Tennessee. So
fixing to.
y'all,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a
Yep.
graduate.
but
I'm a
when you
graduate.
really
I'm a
get it,
graduate.
it's all
It's
y'all.
all y'all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
y'all.
Y'all can catch this y'all for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm a graduate of University of Tennessee, so you're in
That's right. That's
my home
right.
state.
Uh-huh.
So go
Uh-huh.
balls.
That's
all
right. Go
right, boys
balls.
and girls,
Thank you so
thanks for
much,
showing
everybody.
up. We're up against the hour here. I appreciate all of you. Next week we have Grace Sophia, interesting young lady, was born in Russia, Siberia,
Wow.
and
Wow.
that and her story of coming over to this country and all of her stuff. I mean, you look at her and she looks like she is a main leader in the woke movement, but she's a very conservative young lady, and
Yeah.
it's going to be a fun time talking about the neuropsychology of business.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
look
Awesome.
forward to
Awesome.
seeing all of you next week. You all have my number. Give me a shout. Thanks
Thank you so
again,
much,
Tyler.
everybody.
Bye.
Again, thank you, Mac. Take care, everybody.
Bye. See ya. Thank you.